All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to trace the incredible path from the very first instruments humans ever made, all the way to the huge blockbuster movies we all watch today. This is the story of music and film. So, have you ever wondered how a wild idea in someone's head ends up as a movie on your screen or a song you can't stop listening to? That's exactly what we're going to unpack. To really get a grip on all this, we've got to go way back. I mean, way, way back. Let's see how it all started, from ancient sounds to the very first moving pictures. You know, music has been a part of our lives for literally thousands of years, starting with super simple things like bone flutes and drums. But then, technology just changed everything. In 1877, boom, the phonograph appears, and suddenly you can actually record sound. A little later, in 1895, the Lumiere brothers show the first movie to the public. And then the game changer, 1927. The jazz singer comes out, and for the first time, a feature film has sound. The two worlds finally came together. So, before that moment, movies were totally silent. Actors had to be super dramatic with their faces and bodies to show emotion. Any dialogue, it popped up on these text cards on screen, and the music was actually played live in the theater by a pianist. But once the talkies arrived, everything flipped. Acting got way more natural, the sound was part of the film itself, and the music became a crucial part of the storytelling. All right, history lesson over. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how it's all done today. We're talking about the creator's toolkit, the people and the tech that make all the magic happen. At the heart of it all is the film director. Think of them as the captain of the ship. They're in charge of the entire creative vision, making all the big decisions and guiding everyone, from the actors to the camera crew, to bring the story to life. Getting that perfect movie sound? It's not a one-step thing. First, you've got sound mixers on set using these long boom mics to capture what the actors are saying. But sometimes, it's not perfect. So actors go into a studio to re-record their lines. That's called ADR. Then, sound designers come in and add all the little noises, like footsteps or clothes rustling. Finally, everything gets mixed together so you can hear the dialogue perfectly. Okay, so you need to record sound, right? But not all microphones are created equal. You've got dynamic mics, which are super tough and great for loud stuff like a rock concert, and then you have condenser mics. They're way more sensitive, which makes them perfect for a quiet studio where you want to capture every little detail in an actor's voice. So all the scenes are finally shot. Now what? This is where the editor becomes the hero of the story. They have to sort through hundreds of hours of video, pick out the absolute best takes, and piece them all together. Editing is what creates the rhythm and energy of the movie, and it's also how they make sure the sound lines up exactly with what you see on screen. And now for the really cool stuff, visual effects, or VFX. This is where the impossible becomes possible. We're talking computer animation, actors standing in front of giant green screens that later become alien planets, and motion capture, where they record an actor's exact movements and use them to bring a digital character to life. You know that epic, swelling music you hear in big movie moments? A lot of the time, that's a full orchestra. Orchestras are basically made up of four main families. You've got the strings, like violins and cellos, which are the backbone. Then the woodwinds, like flutes for different colors, the powerful brass section with trumpets and trombones, and of course, the percussion, drums and cymbals to add all the drama and rhythm. Okay, so we've seen how it's made. Now, let's talk about, well, how we talk about it. It's time to learn the language of the art so you can understand what you're seeing and hearing on a deeper level. Music comes in all different flavors, and we sort them into categories called genres. For instance, rock is all about high energy and electric guitars. Hip-hop is defined by its rhythmic speech, which we call rapping. Country music is famous for telling stories about real life. And then you have jazz, which is all about improvisation, musicians making stuff up on the spot. The term music theory might sound super complicated, but it's really not. Think of it as the grammar of music. It's the set of ideas and rules that explains how music works, and it gives musicians a shared language so they can create together. Just like a house is made of bricks, all music is made from a few basic ingredients. A note is just one single sound. Rhythm is the pattern of the sounds and silences. It's like the music's heartbeat. A scale is a series of notes that sound good together, and it's what melodies are built from. And a chord is when you play 3 or more notes at the very same time. That's it. Every song you've ever heard is just a combination of these things. All right, let's pull back from the creative stuff for a second and look at the big picture, the business side of things, how we get all this stuff, and where it's all headed in the future. Get ready for this number, $250 million. Yeah,
That's a pretty typical budget for just one major Hollywood blockbuster. It's a massive, massive business with incredibly high stakes.
So where does $250 million actually go? Well, it's a huge machine at work. The big movie studios put up most of the money. Producers are the ones who find that money and hire everybody. A huge chunk goes to marketing, making all those trailers and posters you see everywhere. And a lot of money is made back through international distribution, selling the movie all around the world. Think about how your parents or even grandparents consumed media versus how you do. It's a completely different world, right? It used to be all about buying DVDs or waiting for your favorite show to air on TV. Now, it's all about streaming. You pay a monthly fee and get instant access to almost anything you want, whenever you want.
And this whole streaming thing, it's got some major pros and some pretty big cons. For us, the audience, it's incredibly convenient. For the creators, it's amazing because they can reach people all over the globe. But here's the downside. The amount of money an artist or filmmaker gets paid for a single stream can be really, really small.
You know, when you boil it all down, whether it's an old silent film or the latest streaming hit, the goal has always been the same. It's about taking a story that's just words on a page and turning it into something you can see and hear and feel.
And that brings us right here, to the future. We've gone from bone flutes to streaming services that fit in our pocket. That journey is just incredible. So with technologies like AI and virtual reality getting better every single day, you have to wonder, what's the next chapter going to look like? What do you think? Thanks for joining me on this journey.